Welcome to your 2024 Student Government Special Elections Candidate Forum. Thank you all for being here tonight. My name is Emma Chen.
I'm Trevor Mayton.
And we are the managing editors of the Lafayette student newspaper. We are very excited to continue the tradition of moderating this forum. It is our responsibility to ask the tough questions, both about the candidates' past records and future plans, and ensure that the student body has the proper opportunity to hear from their candidates.
As a brief disclaimer, I did hold the position of parliamentarian for 8 months last year. This is the position for which Ava and William are running. Due to scheduling conflicts, I'm here tonight, so it is what it is. But to mitigate any sort of conflict of interest as possible, I will not be asking questions to the candidates for parliamentarian.
A note on the structure of tonight: we will begin by giving each candidate 30 seconds to introduce themselves. Following this, unless indicated otherwise, each question will be directed to a particular candidate. Please look to us or
We'll not get 30 seconds and that's 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Voting begins March 4th, if you didn't know that already. The link to vote will be displayed at the end of...
Voting ends March 4th.
Yes, voting ends March 4th. Oh, my bad. The voting ends March 4th. We'll have a link at the end there in the form of a QR code.
Okay, so we're going to start with candidate instructions.
Wait, just a clarification.
Yes.
For 30 seconds, are you all knocking at 20 seconds of last or 10 seconds?
We'll be knocking when there are 30 seconds left and when there are 10 seconds left.
Okay.
For candidate instructions, you guys just have 30 seconds and we'll knock in 10 seconds.
Okay.
Okay. Sasha, you ready? Okay. You're good.
Hi, I'm Sasha Carter. I'm a first year at Lafayette. I'm a prospective psychology major looking to minor in government and law. I'm from Westchester, New York, right outside the city, and my passion has always been for the arts. I've been a bass, but dance is by far my favorite thing, and it's put me in a lot of different experiences in life, and it's given me a lot of passion for leadership and different cultural roles.
Great.
Okay,
Virginia.
Hello, my name is Virginia Sacotingo. I am running as Student Government Inclusivity Officer. I'm a Government and Law and French double major. What was the other one? Running for Inclusivity Officer, I feel like I already said that. And on campus, I'm involved in student government. I've been on it since the spring of my sophomore year, and I'm also co-captain of departments.
Okay, Ava.
Hi guys, I'm Ava Galia. I'm running for Student Government Parliamentarian. I'm a sophomore, government law and philosophy double major. I'm from right outside Philly in Villanova, Pennsylvania. I currently sit as a representative for the class of 2026 on student government. I'm on the Sustainability Committee and the Menstrual Equity Committee. I'm also involved in the Pi Beta Phi Member Conduct Committee, in the Women in Law Society, and on the Women's Soccer team.
Awesome. Will.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. My name is William Gutiérrez, and I'm running for parliamentarian because student government needs fixing, and I have the experience and ideas to do just that. As the Lafayette student government correspondent, I helped student government speak to the fire, ensuring it was actually facilitating its constitutional duties and doing its job, and I'll do the exact same as a parliamentarian. At the end of the day, I have the courage, character, and commitment to make a difference. And if you think student government needs fixing too, I'd appreciate your vote. Thank you.
We'll have to pause that before. So beginning questions now. As a reminder for the candidates, we are live streaming this and we are recording it. We'll be uploading a video of this forum to our YouTube channel later in the week. So if you can, speak up because the camera microphones are not good. All right. We will first be asking questions to the candidates for inclusivity officer about their platforms and the readiness to assume the office for which they're running. First question is for Virginia. Looking to your platform, you pledged to, among other things, pay the 6 executive board members of student government $250 each semester in hard dollars and award them free parking and access to all dormitories 24/7. These privileges exist for nobody else at Lafayette College, not even resident advisors, save for the extra hard dollars, of course. First question is, how will you pay for this plan? And then, how do these proposed changes make student government and the campus as a whole more inclusive? You have 1 minute.
All right, so thank you for asking that question. I would say, firstly, I think that these benefits recognize the efforts and the fruition of ideas that have gone into student government I think it is a good thing that it is a first that these benefits are being brought up, because in the past, the former president tried to bring up a proposal of a semesterly stipend or an hourly rate, and that was not feasible. So I think that having these benefits recognizes the privileges that these students would like to have on campus. In terms of free parking, there are other schools that do this. In terms of the $250, I will not be paying these students. Admin will figure it out. But other student government, other schools offer their students $100 to even $350. So I think that it is a great. Sorry, was it the end?
No, that's okay.
Oh, 10 seconds? Okay. So I think that's a great way to start to recognize students' efforts in student government and also push it hopefully outwards towards the student body.
Okay.
Brief follow-up. How does it make student government and the campus population more inclusive as a whole?
Yeah, I think that it makes it inclusive because it has to start somewhere. A lot of people are like, what does student government do? And I think that having these benefits recognizes that. Well, we have hours outside of our GBMs that we meet with each other. We have our ad hoc meetings. We have meetings with administration. And so I think that that is inclusive of not only the time that we're putting in, but the ideas that we're putting in. And it raises initiative for the rest of the student body. So yeah.
Thank you. Do you believe that there are any safety issues associated with giving 6 untrained, unvetted individuals unlimited fob access?
No, that's very true. Thank you for bringing that up. I think that, as you can tell, one of my missions, I brought up meeting with RAs and working collaboratively. And I think that if students, exec representatives, had the same training as RAs, that would be a great way to incorporate that.
Okay.
So yeah, we're not gonna go in blindsided like, hey, here, come in, but definitely need some training too.
Great, thank you. Sasha, your public platform centers around a club you ran in high school. How will your high school club experience translate into the 4 parts of the inclusivity officer's job description? Ensuring projects of student government adhere to diversity, equity, and inclusion principles, fostering an inclusive environment within student government through means such as DEI-related trainings, overseeing the administration of the parent pantry and the menstrual equity project, and serving on the student government standing committee on student life. You have 1 minute.
Yeah, just for a brief background for those that don't know, I was the president and co-founder of World of Difference at my high school. It's a worldwide social justice organization that works on just educating public schools, specifically in my area of New York, on different cultural elements, on different diversity and equity related projects that we did throughout the year. And I would use my experience through that because I ran a social media account and I made many bake sales and I raised money, and because of that, I think that gave me many leadership skills and experience, just like getting kids involved, getting kids active, and making it something interesting that they want to be educated in. I think that's just so relevant, and making it not seem like a chore, but making inclusivity seem like something that everyone should be a part of and everyone should want to educate themselves in.
Thank you. Next question is for Virginia. In your campaign materials, you have said that you are a 5-term representative and a 2-term chair of the Equity and Inclusion Committee. Student government terms are just 1 calendar year. You have served on student government since February of last year, just under 3 semesters, meaning that you have served 1 full term. Additionally, you were elevated to the committee chair position after the dismissal of the former chair 5 months ago, meaning that you have served not a single full term as the Equity and Inclusion Committee chair. You acknowledged in an email to the Lafayette that these claims are false, yet they remain on your Instagram page as of 5 minutes ago. Do you worry about your followers being misled by these claims about your experience? You have 1 minute.
I do not worry about them being misled because that's why we have this forum. We have this platform to acknowledge our mistakes. The Lafayette newspaper did email me and ask me to clarify. Yes, I acknowledge that was a mistake. I was in a very serious mode while making my flyer, and I was like just counting them incorrectly. But no, I've been on student government for 1 term since the spring of my sophomore year, so I just want to clarify that. And I did feel as though it was not enough time to take something down and then put it back up. I just want to give it to you here straightforward.
Do you worry about 15-second follow-up? Do you worry about people who are not watching the forum, who come across your campaign materials, being misled by false claims in your campaign materials? You have 15 seconds.
I don't worry about them being misled. I understand that it may cause confusion or some complexities, But again, we do have resources like this where you're gonna upload this to YouTube. They can ask me any questions if they would like, any clarifications. So yeah, I do apologize for the misunderstanding and the typo, but
And quick yes or no, will you be amending these claims on your Instagram?
yes, sure.
Okay. Sasha, this question is for you. You'll have 1 minute to respond. You've stated that there should be an equity and inclusion Instagram account for the promotion of events and activities for all multicultural clubs on campus. This Instagram account already exists, and it's been dormant since 2022. How will you make this project one that is sustainable?
Yeah, I think that just goes to prove my point. As a first-year student who is very immersed in Lafayette culture, is very active on Instagram. If I hadn't heard about the account, like, that is a problem in itself. And the fact that it's dormant, that's the best way to reach college students, in my humble opinion. You can send out any email you want, and you can write any newspaper you want. Those are great resources. At the end of the day, the things kids are checking the most are their social media platforms. So I think getting that account back up and running would be a great way to promote other clubs. There's so many great resources that the school has that I just feel aren't being highlighted enough. And I think having them all in one consolidated place, specifically for inclusivity, would be a great benefit to spread the word.
Right. Next question is for you again. You'll have 1 minute to respond. Another prong of your platform is a proposal for a tip line that will allow people to anonymously report issues related to diversity, equity, and inclusion. How do you see this tip line as being any different from a one-part report? 1 minute.
Sure. It's anonymous, but they still know that, like, I will be receiving it. So I think knowing the exact face and knowing the person that will be receiving your, like, not complaints, but your concerns, I think that would create more of, like, a sense of community and responsibility. One part is great, but sometimes people get nervous. They don't know who's going to be reading their information, and they don't know if it will ever reach a specific person. So I think having an anonymous place where I still don't need to know everything about them, but they know it's me, and they know I have, like, a sense of personability that maybe one part doesn't.
The last question here, well, not the last question, but this next question is for both candidates for inclusivity officer. Whoever wishes to go first may go first. You'll have 1 minute to respond each. What is the policy proposal for which you are the most proud, and how will you implement it?
Sure. I genuinely think that my focus on social media is what I'm most proud of. I know I've mentioned it before, but just to dive into it some more, I am very passionate about a lot of different groups on campus. I'm passionate about Hillel, I'm passionate about dance. We have a salsa club, a lot of different cultural elements that I think that should be highlighted more. There's been a great focus on sports, there's been a great focus on academics at the school, but I think arts programs in Pacific, we have salsa club and ballet club, and you can't appreciate art without appreciating the culture and appreciating its origins. And there's resources like this that just need more attention and could honestly be so fun and an engaging way to get kids involved in being more educated in inclusivity. So I think that focusing on that social media account and spreading the word to students is my passion for this.
Thank you. Virginia, same question to you. What is the policy proposal for which you are the most proud, and how will you implement it? You have 1 minute.
So this is a hard question because I think I've thought through all my policies, but I will highlight the Park Pantry as inclusivity officer. The Metro Project and the Park Pantry are one of the biggest things that you need to oversee. And I think that a lot of students don't know that they have free resources downstairs, right near the lepers lair, that they can go and grab any snacks, any menstrual products that they would like to use. And I think that it is a form of gratitude. It is a form of unification where students can come together, can work together to pour into one another. And so I think that is one of my most proud policies.
You have 23 seconds left. Do you have any proposals for new policies that you would like to highlight?
Oh yeah, so in terms of the Park Pantry, I would like for it to be open to the student body to come and get some volunteer hours. But it's not just grabbing volunteer hours, it's a way of getting to know one another and bridging the gap between student government and the student body. Because you are me, and I am you, and we're not separate from each other.
Thank you.
Okay, we will now be asking similar questions to the candidates for parliamentarian. William, first one's to you. Student government overhauled its structure 1 year ago, and the changes were made intentionally. You are proposing a massive change to the student government structure by making all class year representatives elected positions. Why do you feel it necessary to significantly change the way student government operates just 1 year after a massive overhaul?
Sure.
You have 1 minute.
Thank you, Emma. I think that those overhauls were great to begin with. As shown by this form today, we have 2 candidates for both of these positions because they were opened up. But the problem is that representatives right now don't have any accountability other than to the executive board that picks them. If we really want students to be at the center and forefront of every decision, students need to be the ones holding representatives directly accountable. And that's exactly why I want to continue on that progress made earlier and allow at-large directly elected representatives, ones accountable to you, not an executive board or anybody else.
Okay, Ava, the next question is to you. Your opponent has proposed an overhaul of the structure of student government. Your publicly available platform offers no proposed changes. Why is this?
Personally, I have read the Constitution many times. I currently serve in student government. I'm very familiar with the rules, the procedures. And to me, the Constitution, the time that was spent crafting it, there was years that students worked on it. And I don't personally believe that there's anything in the Constitution that needs any sort of major overhaul. My platform, I'm running as someone who is looking to uphold and protect the integrity and structure we've built through our Constitution. And I do believe that having gone through the interview process and understanding what the elections board is looking for in candidates, they are entirely committed to selecting candidates that are applying to student government to represent the student body. Everyone on student government, everyone I've worked with is absolutely dedicated to representing the students as fairly as possible. And to me, parliamentarian will allow me to play a much larger part in representing the student body.
Okay, Ava, another question to you. You've been a member of student government for under 3 weeks. How will you master the many rules of student government, including those in the Constitution, bylaws, and Robert's Rules of Orders, before you are sworn in on March 5th?
Yeah, so I believe that in my short time in student government, of course, I have a very strong understanding of the Constitution. I've read through it multiple times, I've read through the bylaws multiple times, and having actually sat in student government meetings, committee meetings, I have a really intimate understanding of how student government functions, how our meetings proceed, the rules that we abide by when we close a procedure, when we amend something, when we do committee work. So I think that in my short time in student government, I will be able to implement everything I've learned effectively as parliamentarian, with Robert's Rules of Orders, with the Constitution and the bylaws in mind the entire time. Thank you.
William, same question to you. You do not have any student government experience. How will you master the many rules of student government before you are sworn in on March 5th?
Well, I actually do have student government experience, just not as a representative. For several months, I was a Lafayette student government correspondent, and there, I had to hold student government accountable. I had to make sure it was following its own bylaws and following its Constitution, knowledge that I still have. I was the one who was holding their feet to the fire. The first student government report card, was written by me. And that's exactly the same mentality that I'll continue forward as parliamentarian. On top of that, I have 4 years of experience with Robert's Rules of Order from congressional debate. So from bylaws to the Constitution to Robert's Rules of Order, I'll be able to handle it. At the end of the day, I'll be able to make a difference and bring order to an institution that desperately needs it.
Thank you. Ava, to you. Our reporting indicates that you haven't had the chance to be particularly active in discussions in student government meetings. As parliamentarian, how will you command the respect of your student government peers?
Yeah, so I believe that in my short time acting in student government, I've definitely had opportunities to contribute and speak on the floor and in committee meetings. I would not say that that's entirely accurate. In our last meeting, in particular, our committee chair was absent, so I spoke on behalf of the committee. I talked about our project. This was specifically the Sustainability Committee, and I spoke about our project, I spoke about our work, I crafted our goals for a presentation that Tanya was giving. So I think that I am able to command the room. I think everyone in student government respects each other enough to allow me to be able to command the room when necessary, so I have no reservations about that whatsoever.
Okay, William, similar question to you. You were outspoken that student government needs fixing. How will you get your student government peers to work with you if you're implying that they are themselves the problem with student government?
Well, first off, I think that people are reasonable. We can absolutely come to consensus about amendments that we believe altogether need implementing. For example, these parliamentarian and diversity, equity, and inclusion officer amendments. They were made with student government. That's indicative that student government can, if pushed hard enough, for example, by Trevor in this case, come to a consensus. And even more than that, we have the voice of public opinion. Student government is deeply unpopular. The YICAC poll had a 1-to-7 ratio of students against versus for student government. And the reason is because they're not being transparent. Student government, we need to fix it. And the students know that. And with public opinion and consensus, I believe that we can actually change it.
Okay, Ava. The first point in your platform is transparency with student government. Is student government not currently transparent? What do you want to change?
So I do believe student government is transparent, and I've seen it myself. I understand and I see that every representative, every executive member on student government is dedicated to transparency. I do believe from speaking with other students and just the general comprehension and approval rates of student government as a whole, there may be some opportunities for some more transparency when communicating with the student body. I certainly plan to implement this if I'm elected as parliamentarian through a possible office hour that I can hold once a week. Students can come. I would address any concerns, of course, within my realm of power. Overall, though, I believe transparency is important in any representative body because the representatives are there to address the needs of the people. So I will continue to foster that and expand on the transparency student government currently has.
Okay, William. One prong of your platform is open communication with the student body. You've attacked student government for lacking transparency, but all student government meetings are open to the public, and the communications officer meets weekly with the Lafayette. What then does open communication look like to you?
Well, first off, that's a problem right there. It's just a communication officer that meets with the Lafayette. General body members have been blocked in the past from speaking to the Lafayette, and that's exactly the issue. I think that anyone in student government should be able to openly speak with the Lafayette because democracy dies in darkness, and student government can only do its job if we have journalists willing and able to hold it to account. But on top of that, you actually need to attend these weekly meetings, which a lot of students don't have time in their schedule to do. That's why I'm proposing recording every single one and uploading them publicly, because you, of all people, deserve easy access to the decisions being made that are impacting you the most. If I'm parliamentarian, I will work every day to put you in the center of every single one of those decisions and make sure you have easy access to all that information.
Okay, William, another one to you. You have pledged to record student government meetings, but student government already has meeting minutes that record what happens at meetings. What exactly do you hope to accomplish by recording meetings?
Well, first off, those meeting minutes can be flawed at times. For example, there was Lafayette coverage in the student government report card that showed that it didn't take its attendance directly, and many motions that were made were actually flawed in its writing. We can't rely specifically on meeting minutes. We need tangible, hard evidence, and that's why I'm proposing video recordings, ones that are publicly accessible. And I would argue that's good for the student body, and it's good for the Lafayette. Because at any point, if there's a student that wants to know specific information regarding something that they're a part of, they'll be able to go to the video on their own time and see it willingly, instead of having to go to that student government meeting where they may not have time otherwise to do so. More than anything else, it's a matter of convenience and transparency, because student government will actually be held accountable for the words they say in those meetings, instead of relying on the Lafayette to carry that out.
Okay, Ava, what does fair representation of the student body mean to you?
So in the particular lens of parliamentarian, the job is to review the Constitution, review the bylaws, make sure that student government is acting within the scope of the Constitution and bylaws. This is extremely important. The Constitution was crafted specifically to ensure that everything that the student government does is to ensure the best representation for the people. So by doing my duty to uphold the Constitution, uphold the bylaws, make sure that we are acting within our scope of power and to the best of our ability, that's really just paramount in fairly representing the student body.
Okay, Ava, another one to you. How will you ensure that all members of student government know and abide by student government's rules?
Yeah, so I do believe every member of student government is required and expected to read the Constitution, so everyone should have at least a general understanding of the rules. Of course, it's nobody's job other than parliamentarian to have such an intimate and particular understanding of the rules and procedures, so I will, foster and educate members as is necessary, as they have questions, as I see things happening that perhaps don't abide by the Constitution, things that absolutely do. And I will be a resource for any sort of proposals, amendments, where the question of constitutionality is brought up and needs a more expertise look at it.
Okay, William, same question to you. How will you ensure that all members of student government know and abide by student government's rules?
Sure, the first way is by laying down law and order. Quite frankly, there have been several student government meetings that have been this unruly, especially in the course of last year, because no one was willing to tell the student government no. I have shown time and time again that I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to be a contrarian and stand on my own because I know it's the right thing to do. And that's exactly the mindset I'll bring to student government. For example, in that meeting, we were bickering for 10 minutes over how to make a motion. A motion. If I'm parliamentarian, it'll never happen under my watch, especially with my knowledge of Robert's Rules of Order. I'll be able to help guide the chamber and directly along the path towards a successful session. Instead of people bickering over what the rules are and what the procedures and the motions are, we'll have it down pat because I'll be helping guide them along the way.
Okay, William. Your two immediate predecessors, the first and second ever parliamentarians, quit before the terms were complete. How will you treat the job differently?
Well, first because I've shown that I have the commitment and dedication to do what it takes. The entirety of my time here at Lafayette has been dedicated to reforming the student government and encouraging good governance, especially as the Lafayette student government correspondent, where I attended those meetings weekly. And let me tell you, sometimes it was a little bit tough, but we made it through. That's exactly what I bring to the table, the courage and the determination to make a difference. I have dedicated myself to public service, modeled after my parents, a dad who was a veteran and a mom who was a teacher. My top priority is representing the students, and I'll never forget that if I'm in office.
Okay, Ava, last question in a set. What makes you different from your predecessors?
So I can't speak for my predecessors. I can't speak as to why they resigned from their position. All I can do is speak about why I know that I will remain dedicated to this position. I ran for student government initially as a representative to help serve my peers and the student body. And I'm still absolutely committed to that, and I believe that through parliamentarian, I can help to, again, foster efficacy, transparency, accountability, and all those things really help to best represent the student body, which is my ultimate goal. I bring with me a dedication and a promise that if elected, I will do my very best to uphold the integrity of student government and to listen to the student government or the student body's needs and wants and concerns regarding student government, and I will not back down from that no matter what may come up in the process.
Thank you. Now, for those who have served on student government already, we're going to ask you to assess your tenure. For those who have not served, we're going to ask you to assess your other contributions to campus. Starting with Virginia. As the interim inclusivity officer, you're the chair of the mental equity programs and park pantry committees. How have you managed these commitments with your many other commitments on campus? And how will you continue to balance these commitments in the coming year? You have 1 minute.
Yeah, I think that being an interim inclusivity officer really gave me an eye to what I am dedicated to. And although I have other things going on, I realize that I do make time for student government. I will make time for student government. And that includes me shopping for park pantry, working with my peers, us FaceTiming each other literally at night, texting each other at night, like, hey, do we have this down? Hey, what are we missing? Hey, do we need to upload this survey to our link tree? Me texting Elle literally in the middle of a basketball game, do we have our things together? And so I think that I've always been showing my dedication towards student government, and if I felt like I couldn't do it, again, like I said, if I can't promise something, I'm not going to say it. So I'm here because I had the interim time, and I know that I can fulfill it.
Thank you. Another question for you, Virginia. You'll have 1 minute to respond.
Mm-hmm.
What is the tangible impact you've had on the student body in your current position in student government? You have 1 minute.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily tangible. I think it's something intangible, and I think that is the relationships and the bonds that I've built with them. That's something that you can't really explain. It's something that takes time. It takes trust. It takes seeing one another. And so I think an impact that I have brought has been intangible. It's not to toot my own horn, I'm not trying to, but it's something that each one of us has that is very different, and that's the impact that we have on one another, which is something you cannot take and you cannot give. And so I think that is the impact that I had, as well as the mission and values project that I'm very grateful to have been a part of.
Sasha, same question to you. What is the tangible impact you've had on campus during your time as a student at Lafayette College?
Sure. I'm a freshman, obviously, so I know my time here has been limited. But the reason I came to such a small school and the reason I ultimately chose Lafayette is I love like the small community and how much of an impact it can make and how many opportunities that I have that I wouldn't have at a bigger school. And so I got here and I got really excited. I joined ballet club and dance club. And this past semester, I was elected to both boards. I am the performance director for ballet club and I'm in charge of public relations for dance club. Both very useful if I were to be elected as inclusivity officer, as I have experience in leadership, in social media, in organization. And I find that this isn't something I have to make time for. This is the time I have. I'm a freshman and I have so much more time and so much energy to give. So that's why I want to jump into something new and hopefully join student government.
Sorry about that. Ava, what is the tangible impact you've had on the student body in your current student government position?
Yeah, so my time on student government has obviously been short, but in those times, I have gone to committee meetings, I've gone to general body meetings. I'd say the most tangible thing that I'm currently working on is my work with the sustainability committee. Right now, we are doing the gown renewal project for graduation. We're working with budgets to possibly do some things with that. We are going to steam them, we're counting them. That's a really big project we have on campus. We're super proud of it, so that's something super tangible that I'm really proud of. In general though, just the work on student body, being able to represent the students, and I will continue to do this regardless of my position in this election. I will continue to serve the student body and listen to them and listen to their concerns, and I believe that will grow into much more tangible projects as my time in student government continues.
Right.
And Will, what is the tangible impact you've had on the student body?
Sure. My most tangible impact has come from working with the Lafayette as their student government correspondent. It's by holding student government accountable. For example, we exposed $3,000 worth of retreat mismanagement and spending, one in which only 6 people showed up. You haven't seen student government do the same exact thing since. It's because the Lafayette was there to report on it and hold them accountable. When the former communications officer wasn't sending out meeting minutes as they were constitutionally required to, I, as part of the Lafayette, reported on that. And now they do it because the Lafayette was there to hold them accountable. Those are the impacts that I've had on this campus, holding student government's feet to the fire and ensuring that it's actually doing its job. As parliamentarian, I will continue to do that.
Thank you. Going down the line, starting with Virginia, you each will have 1 minute to respond to the same question. How will you work productively with the other members of student government to accomplish your goals?
Yeah, I think it's using what we have, but also using what we have and uplifting it. For example, the office hour platform that I have is something that is not only used for our student body, but something that can enlighten more ideas within student government. So I think that it will enhance our communication, it will enhance our ideas that already exist that we just need to put into a system and put into some kind of form. So yeah, I think that using the resources that we have, but also finding ways to make them stronger is a way that I will go about.
All right. Same question to you, Sasha. How will you work productively with the other members of student government to accomplish your goals? You have 1 minute.
Sure. As a freshman, as someone who's not previously involved in student government, I offer a new set of eyes and a new set of opinions. As inclusivity officer, inclusivity to me is having as many different diverse opinions as possible. So I quickly get to know the rest of student government, offer my insight, and listen to what they have to say. Because as inclusivity officer, it's another check and balance for the rest of student government, but it's also like its own entity. Aside from everything I do with inclusivity officer, it's very important to me to foster and create a community within student government.
Okay. Any questions?
Yeah, so I think I kind of get the best of both worlds. I have served on student government for a short time, so I'm acquainted and friends with all the members of the general body and the executive board. So I know we work well together. I know that I will be able to have my voice heard within student government and bring your and the student body's concerns to my peers in student government. However, because I've been in student government for such a short time, I still can offer fresh perspectives and new understandings of how the student government feels about, or how the student body feels about student government from someone who was just an ordinary member of the student body and non-student government just a few weeks ago. So yeah, I think the combination of knowing I work well with student government and having fresh perspectives will be really helpful in working with a student government.
Okay, well,
Yeah, of course. I think it's collaboration the way we'll get stuff done. I think there are people in student government that have good intentions and absolutely work with them to continue pursuing these goals of reform, transparency, and accountability that the students do.
okay. We will now allow each of the candidates to deliver 30-second closing remarks, and we can go back, starting with Will.
Sure. At the end of this debate, I think it's become abundantly clear that this isn't just between Ava and I. It's one about keeping things the same versus reforming. At the end of the day, if you're ready for change, I'm here to bring it to you. You can go to tinyurl.com/votegutierrez. Once again, tinyurl.com/votegutierrez. It'll take you directly to student government's voting page where you can cast your vote and make your voice heard. At the end of the day, if you think student government needs fixing, vote for me. And let's do it. Together. Thank you.
Okay, Ava?
Yeah, at the end of the day, I am running on a platform that supports the current Constitution. However, I pledge to listen to students' concerns, bring them forward as they come, address matters of unconstitutionality that may be brought forward by the newspaper, by the student body. I don't think that requires any sort of great change, but rather just active communication and listening. Thank you guys so much for coming. I'm Ava Galia, and have a great night.
Virginia, 30-second closing remark.
Well, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for trusting me with what you have already have trusted me with as far as the Park Pantry and Menstrual Equity Project. And I am saying right now that I'm here for each and every one of you guys. I'm here to collaborate. I'm here to listen, and I'm here to be a force with you and not for you, so that we can all tell our own narratives and bring our ideas together.
And Sasha, your 30-second closing remark.
Yeah, I know I'm new and I know I'm young, but I'm quite passionate about this, and I'm confident that if I were to be elected, that would be a great experience for both me and student government and grander student body. So yeah, thank you for listening, and I would appreciate any votes.